Hello, and welcome back to More Math, where we are teaching children how to learn math one sign at a time. I'm so glad you could join me today. Grab your piece of paper. Let's talk about converting units using proportions. Proportions? Wait a minute. Didn't we talk about proportions in our last lesson? Of course we did. You mean we are going to build upon prior knowledge and get smarter that way? We are. We're going to do a great job. One thing we talked about with proportions is how we can have a number on the top and a number on the bottom, and they are a ratio. They are proportional. Well, we can do that with converting with units. We can say that 1 foot is the exact same thing as 12 inches. We can use proportions to say, hey, I've got this ratio here. What if I want to know how many inches are in 3 feet? For my not English speakers, foot, feet, singular, plural. That's all that we've got a difference in words here. So we've got 1 foot is 12 inches. 3 feet is how many inches? Let's figure it out. Well, I can say, because I know they're proportional, because I know that it's going to be the same, I can't use the word proportion again, that's like a circular definition, the same ratio, I can say, hey, what did I do to the 1 to make it look like a 3? Yeah, I just multiplied it by 3. That was easy. So if I did that on top, do you remember what we said before? Math is the only thing in life that's totally fair. I can do whatever I want as long as I do it everywhere. If I multiply the top by 3, I just have to do the exact same thing on the bottom and multiply it by 3. See that? I did the same thing. It's proportional, so I'm doing the exact same thing on top as I am on the bottom. 1 times 3 was 3. What's 12 times 3? You got it. I'm going to use this pen. It is 36 inches. So if I know that 1 foot equals 12 inches, but I don't know how many inches 3 feet equal, I just multiplied the top and the bottom by 3, and I found out that 3 feet is the same thing as 36 inches. I can use a proportion to change how many I have. I can go from 1 to 3, 12 to 36. Another proportion I know is that there are 4 cups in 1 quart. That's great. And let's say that I'm making this really big recipe of eggnog, punch, I don't know, something really big. And that really big recipe of eggnog or punch or whatever says, hey, you need 12 cups. Whoops. You need 12 cups of liquid here. I don't want to go buy 12 cups. I'm going to buy quarts. How am I going to do that? Well, same thing. I'm going to say 4 times what is 12? 4 times 3. It's a 3 again. Apparently, I like the number 3 today. It's not always 3, obviously, right? All right. So if I multiply the top by 3, what do I do to the bottom? I'm going to multiply it by 3. And what do we get? 3 times 1 is 3. We get 3 quarts. 12 cups equals 3 quarts. These are proportional. How did I get from 4? I know my ratio here was 4 cups to 1 quart. That's called a conversion. We're going to talk about that in the next unit a little bit more. How do I get from 4 cups to 12 cups? I multiplied it by 3. How do I get from 1 quart to 3 quarts? I multiplied it by 3. Easy peasy. You can do this. You know, sometimes we do a problem like this and we're like, I'm not sure. I don't know what to multiply 16 by to get 48. Maybe you do. Pretend with me that you don't, just so we can learn the skill, okay? Thanks. All right, so I was like, oh no, self, I know not what to do. What we're going to do is we're going to remember our fact families. We're going to say, something. So in this case, we're going to say 48 and 16. 16 times something is 48. Well, because of that, I also know that 48 divided by 16 will give me this number. I'm going to take 48 and divide it by 16. Have you done that in your calculator? What does that equal? It equals 3. Nice job. So just a quick aside real quick, a fact family says that 16 times 3 is 48. It says 48 divided by 16 is 3. 48 divided by 3 is 16. I can use these three numbers all these different ways with multiplication and division. It's kind of cool. So when I wasn't sure, when I was like, I don't know what I'm going to multiply 16 by to get 48, I went the other direction. I did the opposite. I said, well, 48 divided by 16 is 3. So I know my magic number here is 3. Oh, 16 times 3 is 48. Do you see how this, here's my little fact family triangle there, and it's just kind of here on its side a little bit. Yep. All right. So now I know that I multiplied it by 3. 48 divided by 3 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. They're opposites. So I'm going to do what on the bottom? The exact same thing, because my proportion said that 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. 1 lub? It's the English system. I don't know what to tell you. It's called a pound. Yeah. Anyway, so 1 pound times 3 is equal to 3 pounds. So let's review that really quick, because it's sometimes a hard concept for us to grasp in our head. If I need to use my proportion and I'm trying to get to a big number over here, but I don't know how I got there, I can just divide. I can take my answer, my big number, divide it by the starting number, and that will tell me my magic number up here, what I'm going to multiply by. Okay? I think you did great. So what did we just do? We used proportions in order to convert our units. To go from 16 ounces to 48 ounces, we went from 1 pound to 3 pound. We can use proportions to figure out units, okay? To figure out how many of something. Our next video, we're going to talk about how to do that unit conversion, so stick around. Really glad you could come. I hope it's helpful.